Stay tuned for the Splash Live. It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, and social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. How are you doing? I'm doing great myself. Thank you so much for asking. People rarely do that. We got a lot to talk about today as we slowly approach Memorial Day weekend, so let's slowly slide into it. But we are actually talking about the last 2 weeks, actually, the final formal concerts for two legendary West Bloomfield music teachers took place at West Bloomfield High School. It was about a week ago. It was Hawk's Hits, highlighting some of the best choral arrangements from West Bloomfield High School teacher Cheryl Hawk across her career, as a matter of fact. And her final class sung their hearts out and bid a farewell to their lovable choir teacher and to West Bloomfield. And last night, specifically, it was dedicated to orchestra teacher Linda Trotter. It was her turn. Dedicated 26 years of service to the West Bloomfield Middle School, West Bloomfield High School, and actually this orchestra concert was appropriately titled Coda. And this month actually ends 42 years of Linda Trotter's entire education career, and like Hawk, spent dedicated decades of her life and her career inspiring children and students through music. Very, very great story, great career, we should say, and we applaud them. And you can personally applaud them and give your thanks to them on Facebook at West Bloomfield Schools. And you can also check out the seniors from West Bloomfield High School in action tonight, live, 7 p.m. across all of our outlets, civiccentertv.com. We can check that out for the class of 2024 honors convocation. That will be a very exciting event. Like we said, you can check them out, get more information. West Bloomfield Schools on their Facebook also. Speaking of West Bloomfield Schools, it was a short drive from home for the West Bloomfield High School Law Club. The students went down to Wayne State University, and they actually took some time to address some issues that teens actually face, things that affects teenagers nowadays, something that we may not as adults have the perspective to actually see. They share some of their opinions and ideas with some Michigan representatives, school board leaders, members of the U.S. Congress, as well as incoming Oakland school superintendent Ken Gutman, by the way, who did get his start right here in West Bloomfield. Just want to put that small plug out there. But they had the opportunity to express themselves to these leaders and people that are in position to listen and possibly do something. So it was a great opportunity for them. Also in attendance at that event, familiar face, CMO. Don't know if you know Craig Monroe, actually a former Detroit Tiger and currently a Bally Sports baseball analyst for Tigers games. Also, you can see him right here on Civic Center TV. Nice for him and everybody to show up to give these teenagers and these high school students a chance to have their voice and opinions heard also. So you can find out more, get the pictures from that actual event also on their Facebook, West Bloomfield Schools. So you can check out more about that as well. As we slowly approach Memorial Day weekend, it is very, very important to know not everything, every business store entity will have the same hours. With that being said, we want to let you know the West Bloomfield Library wants you to plan ahead for Memorial Day weekend. they will be closed. As a matter of fact, Saturday, May 25th, through Memorial Day, Monday, May 27th, they will be closed the entire weekend. We're talking about both the main branch and the West Acres branch. So please make a note of that. If you have any last minute returns or if you want to make any last minute checkouts, make sure you do that before they close. Friday, May 24th, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me just put that out there, all right? So if you have anything you want to return or grab, make sure you actually go and take advantage of that before they close, Friday, 6 p.m. And that's both branches, but they will return to their regular hours as of Tuesday, May 28th, just to put that out there. And if you are still looking to go to the library this weekend, make sure you be on the lookout to check out some interesting creatures and some natural features. See what we did just there. The library staff yesterday had some uncommon visitors at the main library branch. I would be a little bit uncomfortable, but they had a snake and a toad spotted on campus on Tuesday. Look at that if you're watching on Civic Center TV. Oh my goodness. I would be so out of there so fast. And that was just days following a great find, another great find that they had, West Bloomfield Parks at the Recreation Activity Center. I was interested when I saw this. It was a rare look at the Luna moth. You can see this on Civic Center TV. Look at this. It looked like a cartoon. Civic Center TV. We caught this on video last week. This is a very rare specimen, by the way. Rarely see them. They only live for about a week after they leave the cocoon. They even say that they don't eat. They're just here for a good time, not a long time, and they're out of here. This is according to some naturalists, park naturalists, by the way. So very, very interesting creature. I swear it looks like a Pokemon to me. That's just my generation. But they are very, very rare here in Michigan with the lifespan that they have and everything. So that was a great, interesting find to see right there. You can find out more. Obviously, we like to share on Facebook at WB Parks just to see what they have going on with that specific specimen. And, of course, you can just find out more information what WB Parks has going on at wbparks.org as well. So we want to keep things very informative, let people know, be proactive. Like we said, we are headed into the Memorial Day weekend. With that being said, we know a lot of people will be out there on the roads, on the water, also enjoying things. So Memorial Day weekend, we want to kind of get you in the mood and get you informed about boating safety. Joining us here on the Splash Live talking about boating safety in Oakland County is Lieutenant Brian Burwell from the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. And Lieutenant, thank you so much for joining us. And we've had some recent incidents actually out on the water already this season. Can you just start off by telling us a little bit of background information as to what happened with those incidents?
Sheriff's Office has two recent boating accidents that occurred on Orchard Lake. No fatalities, no injuries.
Good.
But, anytime the weather's warming up and people are taking boats out, boater safety, it starts right at the dock, we tell people. And, even before you leave your driveway, if you're towing a boat with, checking your boat trailer and making sure you're ready to be on the road. And, we always encourage people to take a boater safety class. We offer those free here at the Sheriff's Office. And that's a free service that we offer, a couple classes a month. So, if you're going to venture out on the water, especially this time of year, this is the perfect time before you go out on the water.
Correct.
to take a time and open up those cabinets on the boat and make sure you have your rescue gear with you, your life jackets, and the proper equipment before even going on the water.
Absolutely. Just like we said, make sure you're being proactive before you're being reactive, making sure you're checking all those boxes, dotting your I's, crossing your T's before we even take the boat off our property. Exactly. One thing that you just informed me of that I'm not sure if the community is aware of, that you all offer boater safety classes that are free, correct? Can you talk a little bit more about those classes? What type of information is being shared in those?
Absolutely. If you're going to go out on the water, you need to know the rules. The laws that exist are designed to keep you safe. And one of the things that the Sheriff's Office offers is the free service. You can go to the DNR website to register for those classes. Our Sheriff's Office, currently, I think we do more classes than anyone in the state with boater safety, hunting education. The Oakland County Sheriff's Office offers those services right here at our search and rescue building.
Mm-hmm.
And we do about 2 to 3 classes a month in various topics. And it's a great family event. You can come on out and get certified in boater safety to understand what those rules on lakes are. And, they focus on a lot of good safety information. We do tell people, life jackets are a lot like your seatbelts. They don't work if you don't wear them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to have those life
Mm-hmm.
jackets with you and understand, some of the safety things that go into before you venture out on the water.
Of course. Hey. So of course, Lieutenant. They don't want to wear the life jackets. They're not cool. We're out there on the boat. We're trying to have a good time. We don't want to wear those. It's cramping our style. I want to show off my outfit, my bikini. But like Lieutenant Burwell just said, please wear it. It's safety. That's what we're here for. We want to make sure that everyone is safe at the end of the day. We want to have a good time too. And we're dealing with boats, something that's different from cars on the road. Now it's a little bit a different type of space and atmosphere, but nonetheless, I feel like we need to be even more careful because we're involving water also. But getting back to boater safety real quick, Lieutenant Burwell, are there any common misconceptions about boater safety and or any common incidents that you have encountered in your career that people seem to commonly or consistently kind of come across?
Well, one thing we always remind people is that, life jackets float, you don't. So I know some people don't like wearing the life jackets. And you said that,
Right.
for various reasons, but, having those life jackets on are, important, especially if you find yourself in the water when you weren't expecting it. One of the common things we do see on the lake is something as simple as running out of fuel on the boat. People on the
Mm.
water, and next thing you know, they don't have enough fuel to get in. Certainly, cell phones are always an issue or other electronic devices. People get out on the water and they're distracted very easily with boating accidents. Oakland County's got a tremendous amount of waterway from our parks, rivers, and streams. It's a great time of the year to get out here and enjoy it. And the sheriff's office just wants to remind people that we want you to be safe out there, and we offer those services. We do have our Marine patrols out there.
Mm-hmm.
The sheriff's office maintains a 24/7 response for any rescues on the water. We're also part of the Southeast Michigan Dive Group, which we coordinate. So, but we always want people safe out there, and we try to educate the public as we go along. But a lot of stuff just starts right at the dock, putting the boat into the water where people are injured at that dock, just trying to put their boat in because maybe they're not familiar with the launching or things of that nature.
Right. No. And I love that you kind of painted that picture and gave a little bit more perspective regarding that too, because I don't want people to necessarily just take that for granted, the whole life jacket thing, or being distracted by a cell phone too. Like you would think that only applies to driving on the road, but it goes to being on the water also. But just to reset the show, join the Splash Live right now, Lieutenant Brian Burwell, Specialized Units Patrol Service Division for the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. Join us to talk about boating safety, recent boating incidents that have happened, and how we can all be proactive and make sure we can prevent those accidents from happening in the first place. So essentially, Lieutenant, if you don't mind, are there any rules, local ordinances, laws that people should be aware of before they take off on these boats or anything like that also?
Well, and there's a few things too that go hand in hand, and it's something as simple as the little things people miss, like checking the weather before they go out in the water. And the two recent accidents we had in Orchard Lake involved sailboats with poor weather conditions that people
Mm,
ventured out into. So checking the weather before you hit the water is something that's very important. The other thing is understanding that you do need a boater safety card if you're operating a PWC. Same thing with operating a boat, so
yeah.
you want to take that boater safety class to educate yourself. But the other thing is as simple as leaving a float plan before you leave your house. If your family doesn't know where you're going, what lake you're on, and you don't return, so leaving what they call a float plan, saying, hey, I'm going to head out to Orchard Lake. We're going to park at the Orchard Lake boat launch. We should be on the water by 9 a.m. We're planning on coming off by 5 p.m.
Good point.
If
Good
that
point.
person doesn't return home,
Good point.
you have some information to provide to law enforcement to help locate them.
Yep. No, that's a solid point too. Yeah, let someone know where you are, what time you plan on coming back, because that way, if someone is keeping track and notice that they haven't heard from you, you
Absolutely.
can have lost cell phone signal out in the water or whatever, dropped your cell phone, whatever the case may be. That was a solid point. Thank you for bringing that up, also, Lieutenant. So when we're dealing with water and we're dealing with, let's just say, 4th of July, Memorial Day weekend. Those are very busy times, right? So we can probably expect a lot of people on these waters at the same time. Any advice for boaters, maybe first-time boaters or just boaters in general, when it comes to being on the water with with a lot of boats occupying at that time?
Well, we always tell people, and we one of the things to remember is, as a boater, as an owner of a boat or as an operator of a boat, if you're taking people out, you have a responsibility to get them back in safely. Certainly, people are consuming alcohol on the water. Understanding that alcohol is going to have a greater effect on you on the water. The elements are on you, the sun, the wind. The boat is moving. So sometimes when people are on a lake, they consume a little more because they're dehydrated, and they don't always realize that the alcohol is affecting them more.
Yeah.
And when you're out there on a holiday weekend, and obviously the 4th of July is extremely busy on the lakes, and people are enjoying themselves. But just understanding that alcohol is going to have a greater effect on you when you are on the water, when the sun's beating down on you, and remembering you have to get back in safely. And the other thing too that people sometimes forget around the holiday season is the lakes are crowded. And again, if you don't know the rules of the water and you're just out there, one of the things we see in our county that is a problem is with rental boats. If you're going to rent a boat, make sure you're going to a licensed livery that's been inspected by the sheriff's office. A lot of times people go online, they rent a boat from a private party. It's not a registered boat that's licensed by the state to be rented. Those boats that are licensed are inspected by the sheriff's office for safety. And the year before last, I think we took 7 boats out of service in our county that were unsafe. We closed down 6 illegal liveries that were operating without safety to the public. Several of these crafts were not water-worthy, seaworthy to be out there. So those are things that the public should just take in mind when renting boats and things like that.
Oh, no, you were spot on with that. I would just imagine not everyone who's out there on a boat owns that boat. So I would imagine there's a certain significant portion who are renting boats and could possibly be a little bit more careless with them also, with that being said. So great key points right there. That's pretty much everything I have. Any other information for the community regarding that we may have not discussed, or just people want to get information from you or anything like that you want to give out, please, Lieutenant?
Yeah, the one thing we want to make sure people know is that the sheriff's office is available 24/7 for questions, things of that nature. We always are willing to come out to an association and talk about boater safety. But when our deputies are out on the water, we love interacting with the public. If the public has a question for us, please stop one of the deputies. We absolutely love having positive interactions with people. And if you got a question, you don't know something, you're unsure of something, or even at the boat launch, we have some of our officers there. If it's your first time launching a boat and you're not sure on something, we're always approachable, and we want to be there to make sure you have a safe summer.
Absolutely. Hey, you hit it right on the nail. Thank you so much for opening up, letting people know that you are a resource. They can come and see you if they need to. Make sure they are being proactive instead of reactive. Thank you again, Lieutenant Brian Burwell, Specialized Units Patrol Services Division for the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. We appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate you.
Thank you again, Lieutenant Brian Burwell, for joining us here on the Splash Live, giving out that important key information regarding boating safety as we slide into the summer and Memorial Day weekend. Those are key things that you should know. And like he said, they even offer classes. So if you want to find out more about boating safety and what they have offering from the Oakland County Sheriff's Office, oakgov.com/sheriff, or of course you can visit them on Facebook at OCSO Michigan, as in Oakland County Sheriff's Office, just the initials, Michigan, on Facebook also. So please take some time to check that out if you can. Since we're going from the water back to the land, let's talk about different modes of transportation, more specifically biking. We're seeing a lot more people out on bikes, cycling, enjoying this weather, rightfully so, especially on some trails. And we actually do have a specific event for our bicycle enthusiasts in the community. If you're interested in a hike, we have National Trails Day, which is June 1st, and there's an event called Table to Table Bike Trail on that day. So let's give out some more information. Welcoming our guests to the show, the Splash Live, we have John Hensler, Trail Manager from the Michigan Air Trail. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, how you doing, Kevin?
Hey, doing pretty good, John. Thank you. Listen, man, I'm okay. Michigan Airline Trail, partner on West Bloomfield Parks, first and foremost. Clinton River Trail, also. 25-mile round trip. What are we doing, John? Let's just talk about this. First and foremost, I love it. How did this come about?
So first off, I'll give you a little bit of background on the Airline Trail. The Airline Trail is a 7.5-mile multi-use pathway. It's one of Michigan's newest rail trails. We started construction in 2019 and wrapped it up last year. We go through the towns of Wixom, Walled Lake, and Commerce Township in western Oakland County. And this event, the Table to Table Ride, this is the third year we've done it. And it's basically a 25-mile, as you mentioned, a 25-mile round-trip ride that starts at Drafting Table, which is a brewery in downtown Wixom, and goes to along the Airline Trail, the West Bloomfield Trail, and a little bit of the Clinton River Trail, ends up at Sylvan Table, hence the name Table to Table, and ends up Sylvan Table, which is a farm-to-table restaurant in the town of Sylvan Lake, and then you'll stay up there, have lunch, and then turn around and ride back. So yeah, it's about 25, maybe 26 miles total round trip.
Ooh, man, John, I'm gonna be honest with you. I love to get out. I love to be active. I was just at the gym yesterday. Yesterday was leg day. Today I'm feeling it, John. I got to sit down just to use the bathroom. 25 miles would burn my legs out. So I'm not there yet. Do you have any other, besides this event, do you have any other events that you all do, maybe like some shorter paths or anything like that? Just curious.
We actually do. And later in the summer, actually at the end of summer, September 8th, that's a Sunday, we have an event that we're calling the Hat Trick Ride, which gets you onto 3 trails. And that's only 15 miles total riding. So that's a little bit less. And by the end of the summer, hopefully people will be up in shape that they can do that. But the Hat Trick Ride goes starts at Drafting Table in Wixom, goes the other way, goes west on the Huron Valley Trail, and goes down to Southland, where there's a great brewery called Witch's Hat, and it also goes over to Draft Horse Brewery in New Hudson. So so that's a fun afternoon as well, where people can kind of ramble along the trails. And on the western side of our trail, and the Huron Valley Trail is very scenic. Behind me, that's just a picture of the trail in Commerce Township, which is lovely. But we've got some really nice tree canopies and things like that further west on the trail. So nice. It's a good time.
Oh man, I agree with that. Great time indeed. You catch it on a great weather day. Good people out there, good vibes. Like you said, you're already stopping by 2 different local businesses, supporting them too. So let's go into that then, John. I want to speak about that. Obviously, that takes some type of collaboration between different businesses. So first and foremost, why these specific businesses? Is it because you want the name Table to Table, coincidentally? Or is it, you try different businesses? Or is it like, what's the connection between these businesses? And just talk about the importance of the collaboration.
Yeah, Table to Table worked out really well just because the Drafting Table Brewery and Sylvan Table Restaurant, they are both right on the trail. I mean, the trail, you can see them both from where you're sitting there having your beer or your dinner. So that's very cool, and it's important to get all those businesses that are along the trail introduced to people that might not know about them. And so you might not know about downtown Wixom. You might not realize that the trail goes right through downtown Wixom, goes by a great Mexican restaurant, goes by a coffee shop that's actually called Trail's Edge Cafe. It's literally right on the edge of the trail, which is kind of cool. But then as you proceed through Walled Lake and Commerce Township, there's lots of other bars and restaurants and things like that we want people to be using, whether you're a local resident or you're visiting the trail for the first time, or you're doing the Great Lakes Lake Trail. Our trail is a key part of the 275-mile Great Lake to Lake Trail that starts in South Haven and goes all the way to Port Huron, and about 80% of that now is done. So it's all trails. The parts that are not done yet are on rural roads, so it's still easy to do. We've had a lot of people who have already done this route. You take a week and you go across the state.
What?
And you kind of hang out at places during the day and night, and there's all kinds of really good stuff to see. You go through Kalamazoo, you go through Jackson, you go through Mike Levine, Lakeland's Trail State Park in Livingston County, and Mike Levine is one of our trail benefactors. He ended up giving us quite a bit of money to do our engineering study that kind of kicked off our trail development. But yeah, it's great. Our other big partner that I have to mention too is the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation. They ended up giving us $2.2 million as part of our local match for grants and things like that. So we've built the trail with state and federal funds and some private funds too, which is really nice.
Oh yeah, support. See, you kind of already answered my next question. I just wanted to go into the community support in general, to how to make these types of things happen, man. How important it is. First and foremost, the trail from South Haven to Port Huron. Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
You did,
I got
yes.
family inside. My dad and my family lives in South Haven, so I'm very familiar. But from there to Port Huron is crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's quite a nice thing. Michigan has more rail trail than any other state in the country, more developed rail trail than any other state in the country. I don't know if a lot of people know that.
Oh, I didn't.
But so Michigan is really truly the trail state, and we're adding more and more all the time. So it's very exciting to see. Downtown Pontiac is going to get I should also give a little shout out to the Clinton River Trail, which is one of our partner trails. They're having their 20th anniversary birthday party tonight, in fact. In Pontiac at Goldner Walsh Nursery at 7:00. If you want to come over, we'll be happy to have you over there for that too.
Absolutely. Thank you for putting that out there. Again, join us right here on the Splash Live. Michigan Airline Trail Manager John Hensley talking about the Table-to-Table Bike Trail, coincidentally on National Trails Day, June 1st. 25-mile round trip. I still can't get that. That is crazy, John. Okay,
the nice thing about it is you go 12 miles, and then you get a nice break, and then you.
Good point. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. So real quick, any registration that's required for this? Are helmets required? Just give a little bit more information on how we can actually become part of this.
Yeah, so the trail, actually today is the last full day that we have our early bird pricing for the trail, so the timing is good. You can go to our website at miairlinetrail.com. There's a link right on the homepage there that'll take you to the table-to-table event registration on Eventbrite. The tickets for right now are $25, and then you also purchase whatever you want for lunch. There's a couple of Sylvan Table is a farm-to-table restaurant. They make great stuff. They have there's a smoked chicken and brie sandwich. There's also a veggie sandwich, and then they also have some chicken. This year we have a salad option too, so you can get a regular salad or a chicken salad too. And then anybody who participates, you get one of these. This is like a little tumbler with the logo etched on it. You really can't see it very well, but anyway. So we've got some swag for you too. So we will, we're sponsored also by a bike shop in Walled Lake called Pedego Bikes. They're throwing a little bike light into the swag bag for everybody. And then Downtown Wixom is also one of our sponsors. So we're just trying to help spread the word that Western Oakland County is a great place to get on your bike and come out and check us out.
Man, John, that sounds like a nice time. So I'm assuming we're going to have some great weather, already great scenes, stopping by great restaurants and businesses, supporting them, getting some good merchandise and some swag from that. I don't see why we shouldn't all participate again. John, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your time. Anything else that we missed? Anything else you want to get out to the community? I don't want to miss anything.
Nope. I think we're good. We're looking for the ticket prices will go up a little bit tomorrow, and and then we're up till the day of, so people can register up to the day of. But if you want to save some money, check us out today.
I want to save money every single day, John. Thank you so much again. Thank you so much again, John Hensley, the Michigan Airline Trail Manager, talking about the Table-to-Table Bike Trail June 1st. We appreciate your time, sir.
Have a great day.
Yeah, thank you. You too, man. Great talk right there. I love talking to people. It's a lot going on, and that's what we like to do here at The Splash. Tell you what's going on in the community. Say, there's no reason for me to get outside. I'm tired of being in the house. Get your bike and go outside with the kids on this trail if they can do 25 miles. You can find out more on the website, Michigan Airline Trail. Go to miairlinetrail.com, or, of course, you can visit them on their Facebook at miairlinetrail. Also, get more information regarding that Table-to-Table Bike Trail also. Keeping things within the Oakland County community also, we did share some news recently in regards to Oakland County beginning to offer free transportation for veterans this summer within Oakland County. Join us here on the Splash Live to give us more detail regarding this great program that we have kicking off. Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter joining the Splash Live. Thank you so much for your time.
I'm thrilled to be here. And by the way, the Michigan Airline Trail is awesome. So I second what you said. Get on the trail. It's amazing.
See, we just heard it from the Oakland County executive himself, right? So he just co-signed that. We appreciate it. So you also have a great program that we're kicking off for people within the community. I feel like is very, very deserving of this. Can you just talk about what inspired the implementation of this free transportation program for our vets here?
Yeah, we're always looking for ways to support our veteran community, the folks that sacrifice so much for us. And this is a small way that we can do that. And it came about because we got a grant from the Michigan Veterans Affairs Department. And so we decided, we were looking at ways on how we could spend this. And one of the things that we've been thinking is, could we expand transportation services to our veterans, make it a little bit easier for them to get to their appointments, their doctor's office, the grocery store, wherever they want to go. So we're kind of piloting this summer to see if this is something that veterans and their families would really take advantage of. So all summer long, from June 1st until the end of August, our veterans, their dependents, and their caregivers can ride free on any transportation services in Oakland County. That includes SMART, but it also includes WODA and NODA and People's Express. Any transportation services absolutely free for our veterans.
Great information. So you said it also impacts the veterans' caregivers as well as their dependents. That's great information to share with us also. So if they are traveling with a few other people, then they don't have to worry about that fee also. Great to tell us that. So since we noted this is, a resource that our veterans need, how do you feel like this will directly impact some of our veterans within the community?
Well, we know that transportation is an equity issue, frankly. It's one thing to have the resources to go to the doctor or to the store, but if you don't have the transportation, then that's a barrier. And veterans face lots of different challenges and barriers. And I will say this as well. I've learned this in my time working with veterans. They're the last people to ask for help. They're often very reluctant. They are willing to serve their country and their communities, but they're often reluctant to ask for help when they need it. So like I said, we're always looking for ways to say, look, can we make life a little bit easier for you? And we're hoping that this is one way that they will take advantage of that can make it easier for them. And this is a pilot. We'll revisit it at the end of the summer. And if it's wildly successful, then I'm going to look for a way to continue this program even without the grant money.
See? You already answered one of the questions I was going to inquire about. How do we measure this success? Well, not necessarily how do we measure, but if it turns out to be successful, do we have any possible plans to extend this beyond this time frame? You said that is a strong possibility.
It's a desire. I don't have the money. We got the grant from the state, and that was wonderful, and that's going to let us see how popular this is. But when things work and they're important and they make an impact, then you take a second dive into the budget and try to figure out how you can do that.
Understood. So is there a way that we're kind of measuring the success for this program? Are we expecting a certain number of veterans, or how about this? Let me rephrase that. How are we ensuring that all of the eligible veterans are aware of this and able to take advantage of this?
Well, that's an even better question, because that's why I'm on your show today. That's why I've been doing radio and television interviews, because I want to make sure that our veterans and their families are aware of this free opportunity. Like I said, veterans are sometimes reluctant. So I'm trying to spread the word. I appreciate you helping me to spread the word as well. And yes, we can measure it, because we'll know we're counting every veteran and their dependents who get on a bus. And we'll tally it up and see how successful it was.
So joining us right here on the Splash Live, Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter, telling us a little bit more about the new program Oakland County is offering, free transportation for veterans this summer within Oakland County. Just to kind of look at some things. We are talking about veterans. So with that being said, we're talking about some of them who may be dealing with some type of handicap and things of that nature. How are we ensuring that our modes of transportation, our vans or buses or whatever, are fully equipped and appropriately equipped to actually take care of our veterans who are actually may be handicapped also?
That's an awesome question. And in most of the county, we have transportation that services disabled people or people with physical challenges. So that shouldn't be a challenge anywhere. Now, if you live out in the rural area, maybe up in the north or the west, where we actually schedule rides that pick you up at your home, probably be a good idea when you call to make that appointment to make sure that the vehicle that comes and gets you is able to accommodate you.
Right.
But all of our providers have those vehicles, and that should not be a barrier.
That's a good point too. Yeah, you know, just to do that extra layer of precaution, just to make sure, hey, I am in a wheelchair, or I do have a cane or a walker or whatever. I need enough space for this, and to make sure that I can get up there. No, that's a great solid point. Also, Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter on the Splash Live talking about it. So, what other things should we know about this program specifically? How do you actually prove that you are a veteran in order to receive these free rides, and also just talk about how they can schedule these appointments for these free rides also?
You asked some really good questions, and the first one is really important because we asked ourselves that, what are we going to do if someone says I'm a veteran and they don't have the right paper? Well, first of all, most veterans carry around a veteran ID card. 80, 90%, I'm told, have the card. That card will get you on the bus. But if you don't have that card, you can call the number on that flyer that you've been showing. You can go to our website. You can register for this program, and then we can send you paperwork. And then I just have to tell you, at the end of the day, maybe I shouldn't say this publicly, but I'm going to. We're not going to turn you away. If you tell us you're a veteran and you don't have the paperwork with you, we're going to trust you because we trusted you to keep us safe, and we're going to trust you. But we'll work with you to get the right paperwork or the ID card that you need.
That's a very honorable thing to do. And to say, you really didn't have to say that. I want to put it out there, but it's a very honorable thing for you to do, Dave. Thank you again for that. So are there any other programs, things in process for our veterans within the community that you all that you want to share with us, or anything that's in motion for our veterans?
I would love to, because we have an entire Veterans Affairs department in Oakland County government because we respect their service, and there's a lot of programs and funding that's available for veterans that they don't always know about. And so if they call our Veterans Department at Oakland County, they can find out all of the medical and financial assistance that's available to them and their dependents. But also, we're reaching out even more. We're doing veterans resource fairs across the county, and we're pulling together and asking providers who offer services for veterans to come, and veterans and their families are invited to come to these community events where they can see for themselves and talk to providers of veteran services so that they can, whatever their challenges or needs might be, there are people out there willing and able to provide for our veterans. And so we try to act as the connector to those. So if you go to our website, you'll also see the list of veteran resources fairs that we're having throughout the county and frankly throughout the region, so that veterans know more about the offerings for.
Good point right there. Thank you for providing that. Yes, once again, just kind of explaining this, Oakland County veterans receive free rides within Oakland County June 1st through August 31st. If you do have your veterans card, it does help out just to prove that you are a veteran, but we are here to help our veterans regardless in the honor system. Rides must be scheduled 72 hours in advance. Also, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter, any other information regarding this program or anything else that you want to inform the community before we let you go?
I would just say this. While it's important for our veterans to take advantage of these transportation services, my ultimate goal is to make sure that everyone in Oakland County has equal, affordable access to good transit services. So if you haven't taken the bus in a while, if you haven't called up one of your local providers to get a ride somewhere, I encourage you to try it. It's not what you think. We've come a long way, and I encourage everyone to take advantage of the great transit services that we offer across the county.
I agree with that. Every now and then, at least a long time ago, I used to, even though I had a working car, I would take the bus somewhere just because I could sit and read a book for a little while uninterrupted. Sometimes it's good to be a passenger, just ride, read a book, or just be on your phone. Whatever the case may be, regardless, thank you so much, Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter, joining us on the Splash Live to talk about the Oakland County program offering free transportation for our veterans this summer. We appreciate your time.
Great to be with you. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's exactly what we do here on the Splash Live. Keep everyone in the community informed about what we have going on to benefit our community for the greater good. We have so much more to talk about, so make sure you stay right here. We are live, we are local, we are social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. This is Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. On cable and the radio. On the web too, and on social media. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
I get around primarily by bicycle. That's how I get to work every day, except for when it's really rainy or snowing, then I take the bus.
We take public transportation here to the senior center to volunteer.
Usually just getting to and from classes at OCC or just for recreation, going out to shop at Somerset or explore downtowns like Royal Oak and Birmingham.
Public transportation is about community.
For more information, go to oakgov.com/Oakland Transit.
Bringing you stories and memories from Sylvan Lake, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Live, local, and social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I am your host, Kevin McIntosh. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate that. Now, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And one thing that has a lot of Americans, actually 47% of Americans say money negatively impacts their mental health. And that's why we actually want to have a professional on the Splash Live to talk a little bit more about managing your mental health, especially even when it relates to your money and your finances. So join us here on the Splash Live, Dr. Melanie Schwartz from Viewpoint Psychology and Wellness. We appreciate you for joining us. But starting off, what are some of the ways that financial stress can make a direct impact on our overall mental health, please?
Well, okay, so financial stress is stress. Stress comes in many forms, whatever the stressor may be, but there are obviously a large number of people in this country who have financial stress. Mm-hmm. In terms of how it affects them in symptoms is often anxiety, and that can look like difficulty sleeping, difficulty eating, irritability, having physical symptoms. They might have excessive amount of stomach aches or headaches or other type of symptoms. They might, start having panic attacks or just anxiety attacks in general. So many things lead to the symptoms of anxiety that are caused by stress. So stress is what causes anxiety, and financial stress is a major one for this country.
Absolutely, especially during a time where we're talking about inflation, high prices for everything. It's a lot of money just to purchase a home, the housing market. We're talking about a lot of different moving factors that could affect our mental health. Coping mechanisms, though, what are some things that you kind of advise for clients to kind of deal and cope with their mental health, regardless of what it roots from?
Well, talking about it. A lot of people like to keep it in, and that's the worst thing you can do. That's what's going to cause the symptoms. So talking about it is key, whether you're talking with your support system, with a therapist. There are financial therapists out there who do help, with the mental health aspect and the financial aspect. Okay. That's a newer kind of specialty that's out there, but it is, and it stems from, people in the finance world who have an interest in mental health. And so those people do exist. But really using your support system is key, because there's always a solution to the problem. Sometimes you're too close to the problem, though, so you can't see the solution.
Perfect. I always say this. You can't read the label inside the bottle. Sometimes you do need that outside perspective. And it's hard sometimes. Let me tell you, we all go through things, but sometimes you say, hey, you have friends and family that say, you can reach out to me, talk to me about anything, and they're there. But sometimes it's even hard to just get there, to even accept it, or even reach out, because you're like, I don't want to put my problems on anybody else's. Everybody's doing things, but sometimes you'd be surprised. Some things people have been through that you've been through, and they've literally been through it. So they can kind of give you a little bit of perspective. Not necessarily solution, but perspective.
Right,
so I completely understand.
Exactly.
How would you say, if it does make a difference whatsoever, the difference in genders or sex when it comes to either the different types of mental health or mental health issues that affect your clients, or how they deal with mental health? Is there any difference when it comes to men and women with those issues?
I know that in the article that I read, there was. However, I don't personally see that. I see it as, my clients who do have financial stress, they tend to deal with it in the same way. It's still the same stressors, whether it's depression or anxiety. Now, what is causing the stressor might be different for the genders, and that may be why they deal with it differently. But the actual stress component of it, and then having the anxiety or even depression does happen as well. I do see them, express it very similarly. So I personally haven't seen that difference, but it must exist too. I just haven't seen it. It's just stress is stress, and how people deal with their stress, and it comes out in a variety of ways, most of which I have named. But I think it may be more of the root of the stressor versus the actual how they deal with it.
Okay. There's another perspective on that I want to talk about. But joining us right now on the Splash Live, Dr. Melanie Schwartz from Viewpoint Psychology and Wellness, talking about mental health awareness, the stigma of it. And we're talking about an article that says 47% of Americans say money is negatively impacting their mental health. So what about a difference in possible generation, ages, things of that nature? Are you seeing a difference on maybe the things that they're saying affecting their mental health? Because now I would imagine nowadays we have the younger generation probably attributing a lot to social media and the internet, and the older generation may be a little bit more disconnected and have different problems. Any difference in the generations from your personal experience and how you kind of manage the solutions for both?
I think it is there's absolutely a difference between the generations based on, what's going on in the time that you were born. For, let's say Gen Xers, I'm a Gen Xer. What happens is this is kind of one of the first times that we're the sandwich generation so significantly, because people are living longer. So now people have the responsibility of their parents and the younger generation, their kids. So they do have more of a financial stress. And they're in their, prime money-making years and starting to really look at retirement. And they're like, oh, wait, I may have to adjust that and work longer than I thought I would, because now I got to take care of my parents. So there is more stress on them. And, how they view things and what they thought, their future and their retirement was going to look like, and what it actually turns out to be. And then moving down the line of, the millennials and then the Gen Z, you're seeing kids going to college and having a lot of debt from student loans, so on and so forth, because college is way more expensive now than it ever has been. And then coming out of college, getting these jobs where they're not making a whole lot of money, and they're moving back home because they can't afford to live on their own. So then you have their parents, who are probably in that Gen X age, having to take care of their kids even longer as well, because they can't even afford, to take care of themselves, even though they have jobs and they went to college and so on and so forth. So each and every, generation has their different hurdles with it, but it's definitely significantly more so now than it than it has been.
Dr. Source, you just hit the nail on the head. When you're talking to me right now in my generation, because that is it. Encouraged to go to college and hey, go to college, finish. This is something that we didn't do, or we wanted you to do. You go and you amount all of this debt, and then you already explained it. Trust me. It's like you were in my head.
Yep.
Trust me, I understand. So there's different levels to it, right? Generational differences probably are one of the major gaps between what people are stressing over, whatever the case may be.
Yes.
But other than that, there's still different ways. I mean, there's still multiple ways that we can cope with it. And like Dr. Schwartz just said, there may be some things that we can all do to kind of cope with it at once. So just to kind of start things off a little bit, kind of going backwards in a way, how do we identify, let's say you're living with someone, you have a friend or whatever the case may be, or even yourself, how can you identify whether someone may be dealing with some mental health issues? What are ways you can identify within yourself or even within another individual?
It's probably easier to see in yourself a lot of the time because you're going to start to feel differently. You're going to start to realize, oh, wait, why am I so tired all the time? Or why am I getting so many headaches? Or, why can't I fall asleep at night? Because I'm sitting here thinking about my financial situation and my future and so on and so forth. And so you're going to ask yourself these questions, and it comes down to being mindful. Okay. And being mindful means really focusing on how you're feeling physically and emotionally and in the present moment, and being able to identify that. It's not so easy to do that. Okay. No. But it's important to be able to do. And, also in someone else, what you can look for is changes in, their typical routines or their behavior if they're isolating more in their room, or again, they're saying, oh, I'm so tired all the time, or they're complaining more about health issues, or because, stress leads to health issues. So if you're noticing them talking differently or just being more negative or more irritable, that's probably a good sign that something's going on with them as well.
I 100% agree. And like I said, once again, you hit the nail on the head. And I feel like a lot of us deal with that nowadays, being tired a lot more.
Yes.
Just feel a lot more headache. I feel like our diet may have a lot to do with that also.
Yes.
That's
absolutely.
a whole nother subject, though. But I appreciate you so much, Dr. Short. Yeah, we can go down a rabbit hole with this. Trust me, I'm going to start asking personal questions. But we appreciate your time. Hopefully, we can get you on another time in the future. But before I go, any other additional information, key information from you as a professional that you want to give out to the West Bloomfield community regarding mental health and Mental Health Awareness Month?
Just really reach out, really look into talking to people and being open. We live in this generation in this world that's really hard to live in. And just knowing that you are not alone, it's important to talk to other people. And again, whether it's your community, your support, a therapist, calling the crisis lines, whatever that might be, reach out. You do not have to handle whatever you're going through alone.
Correct.
You never, ever have to do that.
Absolutely. Thank you for reassuring that. Thank you for your information. And once again, thank you for your time. Dr. Melanie Schwartz of Viewpoint Psychology and Wellness, telling us a little bit more about how we can deal with our mental health and Mental Health Awareness Month. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Proper dental care is
great interview with Dr. Melanie Schwartz here on Splash Live, talking about an article that we found. 47% of Americans say money is negatively impacting their mental health. I completely understand, like we said, they're saying the Fed is raising inflation rates and prices and everything is going up, and it costs a lot more money to borrow money. It's a very, very complex situation in the economy, but it all comes down to taking care of your mental health. So we want to thank Dr. Melanie Schwartz again for joining us. You can find out more about what they have going on at Viewpoint Psychology and Wellness at viewpointpw.com. Of course, they are on Facebook at viewpointpw also. We're going to continue to keep you updated on things that's going around in the community, as well as resources that you can utilize. We are live, local, and social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
Bringing you stories and memories from Kego Harbor, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to the Splash, live.
Live, local, and social, by the way. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. How are you doing? My name is Kevin McIntosh. I am your host for today. I appreciate you for joining us. And this week, we are celebrating our emergency medical service workers, EMS workers for short, because it is the 50th anniversary of EMS Week. And this was implemented in 1974 by President Ford. He put this in place essentially. And we're just celebrating our EMS workers, like we said, their daily dedication, saving lives in the community. Yes, this is literally what they are here for. They are the superheroes who do not wear capes. Highlights their day-to-day efforts and promotes excellent and fulfilling careers of service. Let me tell you, like I said, I know someone personally who does EMS work. Very traumatizing. It could be it could weigh heavy on your mental, I will say. And with May being Mental Health Awareness Month, if you know someone who works as an EMS worker, tell them thank you. Be an ear for them to listen, or for them to talk, I should say. And we want to give our local EMS workers your thanks. Please go to Facebook at WB Fire Department to just say, hey, thank you. We see you. We appreciate you. I'm sure it'll go a long way. As we slowly but surely slide into Memorial Day weekend, there's a lot of Memorial Day festivities that are headed our way also. Specifically on Memorial Day, Monday, May 27th, I should say. Multiple events across the community will be in action. Pine Lake Cemetery Memorial, 9 a.m. They have their ceremony going on. That'll be right there on Middle Belt and Lone Pine, I should say, just north of Lone Pine, as a matter of fact. And the Kego ceremony at the Veterans Memorial Rock will be at 9:30. Also, 30 minutes from that, at 10 o'clock, they will start the parade. So it will be a pretty short ceremony if you want to go out there and check that out. But for the kids, just to keep them out of the cemetery, I kind of get it. You can take them to Magnolia by the Lakes, 9:45, to decorate their rides for the parade. They might have a wagon, a bicycle, a four-wheeler. They might actually have a Mercedes-Benz. I don't know what parents are doing these days. But you want to decorate your ride for the parade, you can do that at Mongolia on the Lakes, or by the Lakes, 9:45 also. Find out more about that. Facebook, of course, KH Parks on Facebook to find out everything that they have going on. And Sylvan Lakes Parade, by the way, will begin at 11:30 also. And that'll be leading up to the Veterans Memorial Park, by the way, with their annual ceremony scheduled for around 12 noon. So just keep your eyes and your ears open, and also spread the word if you know someone who wants to attend, you want to attend yourself. Keeping it in Kego Harbor specifically, their Parks and Recreation Department introduced a new initiative to try to get the people to come out and play. It's called Kego Connect, specifically aiming to connect the community through the city's 7 parks with different activities and events, we should say. As a matter of fact, they have story time in the park with the West Bloomfield Library. That's been confirmed. And they also have yoga in the park. I believe they're starting off with yoga in the park too. And I think that's going to be nice. Right off the water, great scene, great weather. Oh man, trust me, get out there and try it and enjoy it. Friday, June 14th Friday, July 19th, Friday, August 8th. The 3 Fridays each month in the summer, all at 10:30 a.m. You can find out even more information, Kego Harbor Parks and Recreation events, on their Facebook, of course, at KH Parks. And you can go directly to their website for more information at kegoharbor.org as well. So much summer fun to plan. Also, there'll be summer fun in the heart of the lakes beginning at Gino's Pizzeria and Restaurant. They just released their 2024 summer events calendar. As a matter of fact, it's on their Facebook, so you can check it out at 1999 Cass Lake Road. Cass LK Road, as a matter of fact. They have music on the patio throughout the summer, beginning on Friday. Special events for Father's Day, Sylvan Lake fireworks, the annual Tigers game trip. Something to look forward to also. So make sure you check that out on their Facebook, 1999 Cass LK RD as well. It's our job here on the Splash Live to keep you updated, and that's exactly what we do. So make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend. And other than that, we appreciate your time. Continue to share, continue to watch. We are live, we are local, we are social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.